So you want to buy an EV? Well, there's a lot of choice right now. You can have a Tesla Model 3 or a Model Y. BYD has got the Dolphin, the Seal, or the Sea Lion 7. MG offers the MG4. Kia has got an EV3, an EV5, an EV6. Kia has got an EV3, an EV5 Buzz version of the Cooper. Not to mention all the other premium brands that offer all electric models. But what if you want an electric car that just feels like a real car? No gimmicks, no pop-out door handles, no all touchscreen controls, no ludicrously fast acceleration. Enter the Toyota BZ4X, which might be the perfect EV for buyers who already struggle with new technology. I've been living with this particular car for the last 3 months, and I'm about to tell you why this Toyota EV should be in the conversation. Okay, straight off the bat, design might not be the BZ4X's strongest suit, but can you honestly really say there is a great looking Toyota out there?
The overall shape and proportions just look like any other SUV, really, with a taller ride height, short overhangs, and a generous rear hatch. But the devil is in the details. And the details on the BZ4X, such as the prominent black plastic cladding on the wheel arches, the matte bonnet accent, and running mascara-like tail lights really let down the overall experience, at least in my opinion. It just looks kind of unfinished, like Toyota ran out of paint when putting the car together. And I can't help but feel if it looked more like a RAV4, it would draw attention for the right reasons.
And if you think the Toyota BZ4X looks a little cheap, well, strap in, because it isn't. This front-wheel drive car I have with me costs $66,000 before on-road costs. That's more expensive than a base Tesla Model Y and every single variant of the RAV4 currently on sale today. And don't go thinking Toyota has stacked the equipment list either.
You'll find 20-inch wheels, front and rear parking sensors, a reversing camera, a power tailgate, rear privacy glass, dual zone climate control, keyless entry, push-button start, heated front seats, and a 7-inch digital instrument cluster, all expected in cars a fraction of this price. But the seat trim is only half leather and half fabric. Only the driver's seat is power operated, and there are only 6 speakers littered throughout the cabin. Also note that only 2025 cars get a wireless smartphone charger, with this base grade 2024 version missing that feature.
Are there more affordable EVs with a longer equipment list? Absolutely, but maybe this Toyota can claw one back with its powertrain, right? Right? Not really, because under the bonnet you'll find a single 150 kilowatt, 266 newton meter electric motor that drives the front axle. This actually makes this particular BZ4X one of the least powerful cars in the all-electric family SUV class. At least there's a claimed 0 to 100 km/h acceleration time of 7.5 seconds, so it doesn't take too long to get this 2-ton SUV going.
And backing all of that up is a 71 kilowatt-hour battery, good for a claimed driving range of about 436 kilometers when tested on the WLTP standard. In reality, a full charge got me about 420 kilometers, but even that was plenty to cover my weekly commute from home to childcare to work and back again. Of course, your situation will be different, and I'm lucky enough to have charging options at home and work. So before you jump onto the bandwagon, make sure an EV will be the right fit for you. With up to 150 kilowatt fast charging, the BZ4X can recoup 10 to 80% of its battery in as little as 30 minutes, but a standard home charger will take significantly longer, so keep that in mind before a long trip.
In terms of efficiency, after 3 months, I'm averaging 16.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. Not the best, but not the worst I've seen in an EV. But it actually betters Toyota's claim of 16.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so at least the BZ4X is efficient. Okay, up until this point you might be thinking, the BZ4X isn't that good of a car. But here is where I start to change your mind.
Firstly, the boot might not be the biggest, but it is usable, offering 421 litres of volume. This means prams, nappy bags, scooters, luggage, and any of life's other paraphernalia can be accommodated with ease. And the rear seats can be folded flat to accommodate even more gear, but Toyota isn't exactly clear on the specific literage in 2-seat mode.
The rear seats though, they offer excellent space for adults, even as tall as 186 centimeters like myself. I'm sat behind my driving position right now and I have plenty of leg, head and shoulder room, and there's more space back here than you can expect out of a similarly sized petrol-powered model. There are also air vents, charging ports, and a fold-down center armrest, as well as a flat floor to make it easier to shimmy across to the other side. But my favorite feature back here might actually be the carpeted floor mats. I know it's a really weird thing to call out, but my kids have been running havoc back here over the last 3 months, and the carpet has remained soft and supple, and it's been an absolute breeze to clean.
In the front, there are the usual assortment of storage options in the door pockets and center console, but the BZ4X also has a shelf under the shifter, perfect for your wallet.
However, there are still a number of quirks throughout the cabin. For starters, there's no traditional gear shifter. Instead, it's a push button dial. And the glove box that you would usually find on the passenger side, well, it's not there either. Instead, there's another level to the underarm storage cubby where you can tuck away the owner's manual and anything else you want to hide away from prying eyes.
And sitting front and center of the dashboard is a 12.3-inch infotainment touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto functionality, as well as native satellite navigation and digital radio.
There are also capacitive buttons that handle the climate controls, as well as other physical buttons strewn throughout for various other functions. But none of this makes the BZ4X a good car, does it? Well, I'd argue that is exactly what makes the BZ4X so appealing. Yes, it is boring and it is a bit vanilla, but it's familiar and even comforting to anyone who has driven a car in the last 20 years.
Look, electric cars already face a steep climb in convincing the masses. You have to change your driving behaviour after all, and always keep an eye on battery percentage and charging opportunities to plan ahead. On top of that, so many of these new models, or at least the ones stealing the headlines, throw gimmicks and novelty into the package too. BYD, it has a rotating screen. Tesla, every function from adjusting the steering wheel to even shifting in gear is now relegated to the central touchscreen. Deepal SO7, Leapmotor C10 and Kia EV9, power-operated pop-out door handles. For Volvo, there's no button to turn the car on and off and nowhere on the key to lock and unlock the doors.
And this Toyota EV has none of those gimmicks. You've got door handles that work. You've got a button to start and stop the car. There are indicator stalks. You can adjust the mirrors with buttons on the door. The seat adjustment controls are exactly where you expect them to be. And I know none of those things are Instagram or TikTok worthy, but everything in here just works how you expect them to. No software glitches or gremlins to mess with the experience at all. In typical Toyota fashion, the BZ4X shows restraint with its driver interface. And while some might say that's dull and boring, I say it's good news for those that want an EV without the steep learning curve. And this Toyota-ness permeates the driving experience too. It seems like every other EV wants to do some bonkers performance variant that will accelerate from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in like 2 seconds, which means a very delicate and sensitive throttle. But Toyota, in showing restraint, has delivered a very easy to drive and very easy to live with model. Even when you pin the throttle to the floor, acceleration comes on in a very controllable and predictable way, but it still feels pretty brisk. The brakes are also calibrated in such a way where they don't grab immediately, and there's a very familiar driving feel behind the wheel. Even when you hit one pedal driving mode, the brakes don't just slam on as soon as you lift your foot off the throttle. There's just a very natural, easy feel to it all. You can get into this car and instantly feel like a confident driver, which isn't something that can be said about other EVs on the market. The steering is also well weighted and offers plenty of feedback without feeling too light or too heavy, which further instills confidence in the driver. It also makes cornering a surprisingly pleasant experience. You will get bouts of understeer when pushing this front-wheel drive car too hard in a corner, but really, you shouldn't ever get to that point with these thick 235 section tires. The suspension also leans towards the firmer side of things, which means speed bumps and potholes can catch you out and send jolts into the cabin. But the trade-off of that is, well, less pronounced body roll. And because this is an EV, the cabin remains quiet, serene, and comfortable for all passengers. I get that the BZ4X isn't quite as flashy as other EVs out there, but like with most Toyotas, it just gets on with getting you and yours to your next destination with no muss and no fuss. In a word, the Toyota BZ4X is, well, it's kind of boring, but that should be seen as a strength, not a weakness. Some people don't need the latest whiz-bang technology and they just want to ease into all-electric motoring, which is where this BZ4X slots in. It's not the cheapest, it doesn't have the longest range or the most powerful electric motor, but it's a Toyota and it works and feels like a Toyota. They say there's comfort in familiarity, and the BZ4X is both comfortable and familiar. And it just so happens to be an electric car too. But after all that, if you're still not convinced the Toyota BZ4X is the right family electric SUV for you, Alex has also reviewed Australia's top-selling Tesla Model Y, which you can find up here.